Hello everyone. Hope you're having a good Sunday. Um Basically want to talk about a an article I found on CBR.com. It's titled How Kirk Unwittingly Ruined Marvel and DC Superhero Comics. Now apparently he came out with this line called Marvels, which is basically a look back at the classic Marvel stuff. And he talked about this article basically talked about how he when you do something and you do something well, like say Watchmen or The Dark Knight, there's gonna be imitators out there who try to do the same thing. um and basically what they're saying about Marvel and DC is that they have done basically nothing new with their books. That they've done nothing but retcon and retcon and retcon, and it's very true. And a lot of I think what they've trying to do now, Marvel and DC both, is they're trying to create new universes. Like, DC's got this thing called Earth One coming up with, it's going to be its completely new, a more modern take on Batman and Superman. And Marvel has Ultimates, which is basically the same thing, a more modern take on their existing characters. Which is a good idea, but still, it's not bringing in new readers. It's basically catering to old readers. And I just saw a video on a friend of mine's on YouTube. He did a video on how well the comic book movies are helping the industry because they bring in new audiences. Well, they do, and they don't. A lot of my friends wanted to read the comics that I've got into. They never read comics, but they're reading comics now is through basically me reading comics, and they were interested in. They said, "Well, what do you like about this?" I said, "Well, just pick out something you like. You see something interesting, you pick it up and you read it." But back on topic. This is very true. I do think that the Marvel and DC are catering towards their old readers and not trying to bring in any new readers. Lately Marvel and DC have been doing events. Basically, these events are crossovers that were rarely done back in the day, but they're done very often now. Like every new story arc is considered an event now. And I will agree, they are getting tiresome. I am getting tired of events. I do like single books, which is why I read a lot of my stuff from the indies. Like, I read a lot from Wildstorm, Vertigo, and Image, and Dark Horse. I read a lot from those. And I think they're putting out better books than Marvel and DC are putting out, in my personal opinion. Two of my favorites are The Goon and Savage Dragon. Those two books are the most consistently written books out, and nobody picks them up. Why? Because they don't have the Marvel and DC imprint on them. Therefore, lesser known books don't get noticed, and everybody's buying up the Marvel and DC stuff. They're just buying it up. They're buying into it, and what can you do about that, right? You got long-time fans, and you got, the movies coming out. People want to get into the comics and stuff like that. And it does get annoying, and I can see why a lot of artists and writers really don't get to grow in the industry, because they're not really recognized, unless they do something really big for like a Batman story or a Superman story or a Spider-Man story or a Wolverine story. Then they're noticed. It's like, okay, I like this guy. And then you can kind of go back and see, oh, this guy wrote this, okay. Oh, he wrote that, alright. Or he drew this, he drew that, or stuff like that. But I really hope that this kind of blows over, that these events kind of blow over, and we get more consistently written books and less events, because I am kind of sick of the events. They happen too often now. Crossovers were fun when they rarely happen, but now it's just like, okay, I'm kind of worn out with them too. There's too many tie-ins. There's too many characters. It's a lot to take in, especially if you're a new reader. Also, this article brought up about retconning, that basically what they've done is, and I've touched on this earlier myself, is that they made Marvel and DC comics a little darker and bloodier. Like everybody, Marvel and DC are trying to be the new hip thing. They're trying to make their comics more quote unquote realistic and bloody. Which, I like blood and I like realistic as much as the next guy, but it shouldn't be in every book. You know what I'm saying? That's not how the characters are. They shouldn't be like that all the time. Certain books like Spawn. Okay, Spawn started out like that. It started out dark and brooding and stuff like that, and that's the type of book it is. But that comic and stuff and the cartoon was so popular that Marvel basically went, oh, let's copy it. Marvel and DC basically said, you know what, let's copy that and let's try to make our books more darker and stuff like that. Now, and basically now everybody says, it's Image's fault that they could have ruined comics. Well, that's not really their fault. They were doing their own thing. It was his own book. Spawn was his own book. That doesn't mean, just because Spawn is dark doesn't mean you gotta make Spider-Man dark. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of everybody's trying to be, when something works, everybody follows the pattern, which is fine. They do that a lot in different other mediums as well, but it doesn't have to be in every book. And I do hope, and I'm looking forward to Brightest Day and Heroic Age, and hopefully things will change and they will start writing books where it can bring in new readers. And I do agree with people saying that every comic book should be an opportunity for new readers to pick up a book, and that's true. That is very true. If I ever do write a comic book, which I do hope I am able to do, I want it to be a book where someone can pick it up, they can talk to it about their friends, and their friends can pick it up and like it. Because, not everybody likes the whole superhero thing. Superheroes are fine. I love superheroes, but, that might not appeal to everyone. Everyone might not like that genre of comics. They might want to read something like Preacher, or they might want to read something like Spawn, or they might want to read something like basically anything that's not superheroes, And there are a lot of books out there like that, but no one's paying attention to them, no one's recommending them, and they're just sitting there and they're getting wasted. And I do agree with fans. I do agree with the fans were saying in this article that it does get annoying, because there are a lot of books I like and they don't get recognition, and I really do hate that. But that's my thoughts on this article that was posted. You guys really should read it over. The link will be in the sidebar as usual. Check it out. It's a very good article. Brings up some very good points, and I think everyone should read it. And I think Marvel and DC should look at this and go, "Wow, what are we doing with the industry?" And that's pretty much it.